Hello and welcome back. Today we are starting our exploration of systems of equations. We have spent a lot of time talking about equations, but this unit we're starting with systems of equations. And a system of equations, like we discussed in class, is just two or more equations that are related to each other. So they're talking about the same things. So our goals today are listed here actually in our systems of equations exploration slides. And these are the two things that we need to have to complete the assignment. Our instructions are all listed in the slides. And the tool that we're going to use is here. I'm going to close out this one. So if we look at the slides, our learning goals are listed. We want to be able to define a system of linear equations and a solution to a system of linear equations, identify whether a system of linear equations has one solution, no solutions, or infinite solutions. And we want to be able to do that based on the graph of the equations, and also we want to get to a point where we can do that just by looking at the equations. And then ultimately, at the end of this assignment, we're going to create our own rule that relates the slope of two lines to the number of solutions of the equation. Okay, so these are our goals, and we're going to spend a couple of days doing this. So if it seems like a lot, we do have time. So to meet these goals, what we're going to do is we're going to use this graphing tool. Again, the link is in the assignment. We don't want the slope version. We want the second box, which is slope intercept. So we click right there on that second box, and it opens up our tool. Our first step just says explore the slope intercept screen for 5 minutes and write down 1 to 3 discoveries you have made or remember about the simulation. We used this tool yesterday, so that might save you some time here. When you open it up, if you're like, yeah, I did this yesterday, I remember how to do this, you can probably just fill in this answer right away. Get a text box and go ahead and type in what you remember, just some overviews about using the tool. And you come down to the second slide, and this is where the new activities start. The instructions say to create a line and use the Save Line button to preserve it. Create a second line that intersects the first. And that word intersects sounds an awful lot like intersection. It's just meaning that the two lines will cross each other. So you want to create a graph in our tool where the lines cross each other. So I'm going to go back to the tool. And it doesn't matter. There's no rules about what the line should look like. You just have to create some lines. I got this first one. I'm going to save it. Now remember, once I see this erase lines button active, it means I can move it and have a second line. So I'm going to go ahead. It gives me 2 lines. Now I want to make sure they cross each other. So let's go with that. That seems good. Okay, I now have 2 lines that cross each other, and that's all the instructions told me that I had to do. So I have finished step 2. Step 3 says sketch both lines below and write their equations in slope-intercept form. We have the advantage that we're completely digital. So if you want to just take a snip or a screen capture of this part of your screen and paste it here, I am okay with that. You can just go ahead and, as long as there's the picture that shows those 2 lines. But you do have to fill in the equations here in slope-intercept form and give me that point of intersection. So step 4 tells you to use the point locator. And they put a little picture of it, but I'll show you back in the tool. These gray boxes, when you pull them onto the coordinate plane, they can tell you what the points are. So I can find some points, and I will just put it right at the place where the lines intersect. It's giving me a hard time here because my lines don't intersect right at an intersection. So I might need to get as close as I can and then guess. It's more than 4, so it's 4.25 maybe. And it's a little bit above -2, so maybe -1.8. I'm okay with that. Or you can always just change your lines to a place where they will cross at a a definite point like this. So that's two options to solve that. Either make a good estimate or just change your lines. I'm okay with doing it either way. So this first slide is all about finding two lines that intersect, writing out the equations, finding the point of intersection. And then it says with a partner, discuss and summarize. If you're doing this in class, you can go ahead and do that in the chat or elsewhere. If you're doing this on your own after class or you're finishing it up, just go ahead and write down your thoughts right here. What do you think? Will these lines ever cross again? Why do you think they will? Why do you think they won't? And then we'll go on and look at the next step. I'm going to erase both lines. So I come here and I hit erase lines. That did erase them. Now I'm just starting over with this original line. I'm going to put him away. And I can use this to create a new line. But this time I'm doing something different. I need to create a second line that will never intersect. So this picture that I put here should not cross, never intersect. So think about what kind of lines never intersect each other and make those lines. Again, you can paste the picture if you want and fill in the equations that you find here. Then there's a follow-up, right? And so just right here, put in your thoughts and conclusions that you have from the second picture. Why do you think these lines won't intersect? If I made my coordinate plane really big, would I find a place that they did intersect? Why or why not? And then step 11, I need to create a third set of lines. Step 11 doesn't make me draw a picture because it would be a very boring picture, but it is a third set. I'm going to create a set of lines that completely overlap each other. They lie right on top of each other. Okay? And then what do you think has to be true about these equations? Go ahead and fill in that question too. The last one says checkpoint, wait for the class discussion. We're going to talk about this in class, but I went ahead and provided you some discussion questions that we're going to use as a format for our class discussion. And in this slide 5, I gave you some space. Use this space to answer a question fully. Here it said choose, but after I created this document, I decided that I'm actually going to assign questions. So if you look at the class comment on our assignment, everybody was assigned a question. So you can look and see which question we want you to answer. Everybody has to answer the question they were assigned, and then all students, everybody should answer question number 8. So in this space, you should have the answers to 2 questions and the questions that you have to answer. Look at the assignment to get your number, and the questions are listed right here. We will talk about all of these questions in class, so if you want to answer some extras, or if you want to read through them just to get an idea what kind of things we're going to be discussing, that is a fine idea.